After years of building multiple 7- and 8-figure brands, I've now made the decision that I'm gonna blow it all up. And this is not because they're in bad shape or because of the recession. In fact, most of my businesses have had record-setting years despite what's going on in the world right now. So the reason that I'm blowing everything up is to unite all the businesses under one roof. And this goes hand in hand with my new book, The Wealthy Way, which just came out December 13th and has been #1 in entrepreneurship for weeks. And you can get the book and my free course called Business Builder Academy by going to wealthywaybook.com. And the reason I bring that book up is because I'm really doubling down on the Wealthy brand. At this point last year, I released The Wealthy Way with some cool free stuff. The first was the Wealth Builder Academy, which was completely free, and we had thousands and thousands of people go through it. And the second was the Wealthy Way Planner, which is a software that I created to help people track their goals, write things they're grateful for, and journal in the morning. And for everyone that signed up, we also started a newsletter, which people have been getting every single week with a lot of great content and blogs. Now, the feedback from everything has been amazing, and it's allowed me to go into phase 2 of the Wealthy brand, which now includes releasing the book, which I mentioned earlier, as well as the new course, Business Builder Academy. But we're also going to be releasing a mobile app for the planner here very shortly, and it also includes blowing up some of my businesses like I mentioned before. I'm going to be rebranding some of these businesses to fit into the Wealthy empire. The first one's going to come as a shock because it's probably the one that I've talked about most on this channel, which is Future Flipper, my real estate education company. I started that company back in 2018, and it's built a ton of brand equity over the years. We have an amazing community. Our students wear our shirts that say Future Flipper. We hold massive events every quarter, and people know what the brand is. And changing the name for it has been one of the most difficult decisions I've had to make in my life because it's kind of like my child. You don't really want to go rename your child 5 years later after you've named it. But in the long run, I think that rebranding is going to be the right move, even though it might be painful right now during the transition. So from this point forward, Future Flipper will now be known as Wealthy Investor. I was actually able to get the domain wealthyinvestor.com for only $10,000, which I thought was a steal. And the cool thing about changing to this name is it does two big things. The first is that it brings it into the Wealthy ecosystem that's going to make it more recognizable as that brand grows. But the second is that it now opens up the door for different forms of real estate investing. Future Flipper started with the purpose of teaching people how to flip houses. But over time, as we've evolved, we've taught all forms of real estate investing, whether it was flipping, wholesaling, buying rentals, Airbnb, and even multifamily. And unfortunately, the name Future Flipper doesn't really reflect that ideology anymore. Thankfully, Wealthy Investor does. And for those people who have no idea who I am today, they're much more likely to go to a company called Wealthy Investor if they want to learn rental properties and everything else versus a company called Future Flipper. So on one hand, I'm super excited about the change. I know it's the right move for the future, but it's still not easy to do. The other business that I'm changing is actually a lot more easy to do because it's one of my newest businesses called Content Empire. And this has been the fastest growing company I've ever launched. Essentially, we teach entrepreneurs how to create content, grow their following and personal brand, and turn those views into dollars for their business. So changing the name isn't so bad since we just started it. So going forward, Content Empire will now be known as Wealthy Creator. We're trying to help entrepreneurs become content creators so the name fits. Now I will say the lion that we have as the mascot for Content Empire is easily my favorite logo. And I didn't want to give him up because he's super cool and I love having him on different merch and other things. So instead of getting rid of the lion, I'm actually going to give the lion a promotion and make him the mascot over all of the Wealthy brands. So whether you're in Wealthy Investor, Wealthy Creator, or any of the other companies that we launch here in the coming years, the lion will be prevalent. And I just love the concept of the lion and wealth. There's a lot of biblical references to lions, kings, and kingdoms. And I think lions are a great representation of wealth and status. But the lion is missing a name, so I would love to hear in the comments what we should name the lion. If you put a name that I end up choosing, I'm gonna give you 2 free tickets to our upcoming event, January 9th to the 13th. So make sure you go comment to enter and we'll pick a winner here if we like one of the names. Now those are the immediate brands that we're changing the names on, but we are also working on other brands for the Wealthy name. I just acquired a media company that we are going to be rebranding into Wealthy Media. This company will service all of my current companies so that we can really scale our advertising and funnels. I'm also working on acquiring a CRM company, and we're probably going to name it Wealthy CRM, as you can imagine. And we're going to help real estate investors with their CRM needs, as well as other industries that I'm a part of. And this is just the beginning of everything. Recently, I did a video going in depth on my plans to become a millionaire and how much of it revolves around building out my parent company so that we can start acquiring more and more businesses. And this move fits perfectly into that vision. Now, not every company will go under the Wealthy brand, only when it makes sense. For instance, TrueBooks, which is my CPA firm, will remain unchanged. Home Run Offer, my house flipping company, isn't gonna change. And my hope is that by bringing these all into one umbrella, it's gonna bring brand recognition across all of them as each one grows individually. As the Wealthy Way movement grows, it will inherently help those individual companies. And as one company like Wealthy Investor gets bigger and provides a great service, people will inherently trust the other wealthy companies and try their services as well. And that's the big picture that we're striving for, but there is one other thing that's gonna be really big if all of this pans out the right way. As time goes on and we keep building great businesses and providing great content and value under this Wealthy brand, people might start to associate me with the word wealth or wealthy. Even if you're just using it in normal conversation, not about me, people will start thinking about me every time the word is used. And if that happens, it will be pretty crazy, and it's not a bad word to associate yourself with.